So, Marianne, this is the
Party.
final. This is the final podcast. It's
I
over.
know.
It's over after all these years of development. It was worth the wait. I don't know. I guess we'll have to leave that to a popular vote.
We met years ago.
Under the Gardner Expressway.
Okay.
I know. I think that's a good story. You know, I was walking by and I saw someone with like a hood and a cap on the hood, and then like another backwards baseball hat on top of the baseball hat. I was like, why do you have three hats on? And from there, a friendship was formed. It's a pretty crazy story, pretty wild.
So you're saying I was a gangster?
I was saying you liked your hats. We'll leave that open to interpretation.
Sure.
You were a haberdasher's favorite customer, let's say.
Okay. Why not?
It's weird. Like you have all these jobs where they have some weird name for the job, and then the job gets so popular that it becomes a last name. Like Smiths. Like every town had a Smith, you know, because everyone needed metallic stuff, and so now Smith is just this hugely popular last name. And apparently, like different Smiths, like of different metals, would have different names. So you had like a blacksmith, and then you had like a greensmith, and so that's why some people their last name is like black or silver or green. It's like it's not just their great grandparents' favorite color. Apparently, it's like what 400 years ago their family did. It's pretty wild.
That is wild.
I don't know.
That
we need an independent fact checker to source that one for me.
Comment down below.
Yeah, show us your peer-reviewed journal showing that people used to smith metal. Yeah. It's funny because that whole sort of metallic process, it reminds me of how a podcast is formed, right? One person works really, really hard at the beginning to kind of set everything up, to sort of make sure everything goes smoothly behind the scenes. Thank you, Julia. And you never see them, right? Unless you're like picking up the sword or whatever, and then you're like, oh, hello, thank you for the sword, and then you never see them again. But then that sword is just like lying there in your room, a constant reminder of sort of the backbreaking labor, the bellows and the hammer and the anvil and all the other things from RuneScape, because I think it's the same in RuneScape in real life.
But do you think that's representative of our podcast?
It was, yeah. I think it does. We were really hot at the beginning, and then over time we kind of cooled down.
Like metal.
Kind of like when you forge metal in a furnace, right? You get it's like glowing, and then you submerge it in the water. You have all the bubbling and the steam, and then you pull it out, and you're like, ding, 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 ding. Slowly polishing it, slowly like forming it exactly what you want it to be. It's a lot like the creative process in general, I guess. You start with this raw mass, you boil it down, you kind of purify it in the crucible, and then what you have left is like just intense, pure, ready to be molded to your desires,
So if this podcast was something blacksmith, what do you think our podcast would be? Like an axe or a sword?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or like a shield?
Maybe a halberd. If my memory serves, a halberd is like this really long pole with like almost like an axe at the end, and then you kind of use it to like poke and swing and stuff, like on a horse. I think I don't know. I'm not a 14th century medieval peasant.
Yeah. according to
What do
Google,
you think?
according to Google, a halberd is a two-handed pole weapon that came to prominent use during the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries. So our podcast is kind of like that.
You got that sort of
Like we're
15th
both
century
like,
vibe?
no, like the two-headed pole weapon. Like we're the two heads of it, and Julia is like the part that you hold on to.
The handle?
The handle. As you can tell, English is not my first language. Well, I think it is, but oh well.
You have head 1, you have head 2, and then you have the thing that you hold on to. The three crucial parts of any weapon.
Yeah.
And like all weapons, wait, what do all weapons do? They're all forged.
Like a signature. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh, that's a good connection. That's where we get the like fonts and stuff, right? Like a foundry, right? Same sort of thing. Metal, hot, seals.
Hammered.
Yeah, hammered.
It's hammer time.
I was doing some work this week, some homework, and I was thinking about what is the duty of a teacher to their students? Because there's like a legal standard, maybe there's a moral standard, and then like what the student wants, homework, what the teacher, what the parent wants, what the principal wants. And I guess I started thinking about how in like one person can be kind of be pulled on by like 5, 6, 10 different forces, as it were. It's like how do you navigate that? How do you figure out, well, this is the one I should be listening to, or this one I should prioritize over this one? Like how do we make that decision sort of on a fundamental level?
Sorry, wait, what did you say?
when you might have 10 different motivating forces behind the decision, all leading you to do different things, how do you figure out, I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do that?
I don't know. Like sometimes it's like you feel it in the moment, like what feels right during that moment. And like there's different things that do pull you, right? And like regardless of what it is, or based on what those forces are, will determine which direction you will take your decision. So if you give me like a more specific question, I could probably formulate a better answer for you.
So let's say you have a student who really loves physical activity. They love going out to play basketball or whatever. And you're trying to teach them something really boring, like I don't know, some math lesson that, it's hard to really connect it to anything in the real world. And they're just like, I don't want to do this. I want to just go out and play basketball. And so they're just going to sit there, like their head on their desk for half an hour until the bell rings and they can go out for recess. What do you think the teacher should do in that situation? Or maybe what should the teacher have done before the day started preemptively to anticipate that situation?
I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind would be like starting off the day with like some physical activity to get that out of the way, and so that the student is satisfied that they got their basketball in. But also, I was thinking back to my lesson plan assignment that I have to do, and we had to incorporate Laudato Si into a science lesson, history, anything but religion. So I would incorporate both basketball or like physical education with math. Yeah.
Okay. Run me through that. You're teaching fractions. What's the difference between a third and a quarter? How do we bring basketball into that?
Like fraction, probably like shooting. Like the chances of you getting a shot in based on like how far close you are to the net.
Yeah, I like that. and then you could like have everyone in the class shoot from this far away or this far away or this far away, and then maybe you have like half the class shooting and then half the class we're kind of recording the results, and then you switch, and then you have and then you have this giant data set, and then you start like graphing everything and you show like all the stuff,
equations.
Then you've done the physical thing and you've done the sort of curriculum thing.
Yeah, and then because if you're going to be teaching at Catholic school, you have to incorporate the Catholic graduate expectations, which is fairness. I don't know if it's fairness, but like fairness is built into that.
It's like seven platitudes, like, oh, it's a lifelong learner and a responsible citizen and all these things. I should know. I had to do an assignment on this, but I don't. Wow, that's a really cool idea.
You can take it because you're already there. I'm still trying to get there.
Yeah, I'll give credit, and then you'll get the royalties from my lesson plan that gets uploaded to like Google Drive or whatever. You'll get like a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a cent. It'll be like Spotify, you know. You'll get like $1 for 1 million plays.
Yep, definitely.
That must require a lot of brain power to sort of come up with all this stuff but still have it like be creative and interesting and engaging, right?
And it also depends on like the age group that you're dealing with. Like if you're teaching kindergarten versus grade 12, you're not going to do the same thing, and like the content of what you're teaching is going to be different as well.
Yeah, totally. Do you think there's anything that maybe we underestimate kids? You know,
a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like their natural affinity to learn, their natural affinity to literally the smallest thing, like, ooh, butterfly. Like it surprises you what they are drawn to and what they're willing to accept.
Oh yeah, totally. It blows my mind. Like I remember reading The Little Prince in second year, and I was just so blown away at how sort of intuitive it is to think like it's almost like to think like a child, to just think without any of this baggage sort of weighing you down from just direct experiencing the world around you. It's wild. But then you're like, oh, well, I got to get back to work, or, you know, I got to do this and that. And then you just get back into the adult world, you know, of responsibility.
Not just that, like you have experience and knowledge in the back of your mind, like that you take that with you. And because of that, it shapes the way you think. It shapes like the people around you, shapes the way you think. They peer pressure you, right? So when you're a kid, that does exist, but to a lesser degree. So like as a kid, you have a clean slate to be painted over.
Yeah, and I guess you can bring all your sort of like you haven't yet been the imprint hasn't been laid on yet, so you still have all this natural curiosity and you know, invention inside of you, and you can bring that to the classroom. That's exciting.
Yeah.
But then over time it kind of we kind of neglected, you know. How do we bring it? How do we kind of reinvigorate as, let's say, young adults, overgrown children, for myself? How do we sort of reinvigorate that sort of sense of wonder in things that might feel so routine or so ordinary? That's a tough question. I never thought of that.
I mean, for myself, like I don't know if you've watched the re-intro to NCSE. So I'm labeled the child. So the way I see the world, I like looking at the world from a fresh standpoint. So when I see something like interesting, even though I've seen it before, like I get very fascinated because I'm like, whoa. Because I tend to forget or neglect the fact that there are the things in this world that do fascinate us. And even despite encountering it multiple times, like just taking that step back and seeing things for what it is really takes you back to when you're a child. And that's like the feeling that I like going back to because it's really joyous, especially like being in a university, U of T. It's really hard to be happy here, but finding the small things in life, being around people that you love here at Newman. That's why I like coming here because it's a fun time.
Yeah, the Newman Center is really amazing because it's almost like this small little, not a green space. It's not green, but it's like an oasis of vitality.
Yes, life. It brings life.
Yeah. And I guess it reminds me of, the idea that we can't see others as we see them. We have to see others as God sees them in this sort of pure, sort of unadulterated sense, that, everyone has God in them, and that we need to recognize that, which is a real challenge when you have people in your life who, you find annoying or you find get in the way, or people you want to just kind of treat as invisible, if you're in a busy crowd, sort of just like people are just things in your way to get to the door or something like that. It's a real challenge, but it's really inspiring when you sort of have that, oh yeah, all these people are loved in the same way I'm loved. Like, that's really powerful. That's really amazing.
Yeah, you share in that unity, in that communion, which is something I love because going back to my first year, I missed the sense of being in a communion with everyone around me. I remember in classes, I would be like a separate section or a separate from everyone else, and that made me feel distant from not just everyone around me, but from myself as well. Like, you gain a sense of self in a community. When you lose yourself, you gain yourself.
like Eminem, lose yourself. If you only had one friend group, would you take your shot? I get what you mean 100%. I struggled with I was kind of a jerk, or I was more of a jerk coming into university, because I would look at everyone and I would feel a sort of contempt for, like, oh, these plebeians, they listen to this music or they watch these movies. I'm better than them. I have this particular taste, this particular worldview, and they don't fit into it. They're all losers. But then I was just like, well, that's not really a sustainable way to live. That's not really a sustainable way to interact with human beings. So I had to sort of like sit back and be like, yeah, this is not going to work. You need to stop being a jerk. So it took me a little while. I had to sort of be like, okay, you're allowed to like pop music. You're allowed to like Britney Spears and all this stuff, to be like, having that community is so important. Like, a community of one is a community, but a community of one can be very corrosive if you let that sort of darker part of you overwhelm your ability to see the good in others and in the world around you. Still working on that.
Definitely. But if you allow other people to freely like what they like, you also have to allow yourself to do the same.
To not hold yourself to some sort of self-imposed standard that is just impossible. Yeah, totally. Subway sucks. My brother in Christ, you made the sandwich. Well. Look who it is. Did you just immediately die as soon as you went into the next room?
Yeah, I had to go here. Okay.
Yes, go in the middle of the oak room. Yeah. Communal podcast time.
Okay, you want to do communal podcast?
Communal podcast time. Let's go.
The secluded part is open now.
Oh, it is open. Should work. Okay. What? No, it's not. Liam's there.
I can offer suggestions. You can offer commands.
Wait, what are
Stage
Liam
direction.
out?
Can I kick Liam out?
I feel like I need 5 minutes.
Okay, done deal.
Holy cow.
Liam, is it okay if I talk?
Go ahead.
No, like I'm gonna in a Zoom.
Oh, you're in Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that okay?
I'm also in Zoom where we're required to talk as well.
Ah, okay. It's okay.
Oh.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Okay.
You're not taking out. I'm in gnome. And you've been gnomed. It's a garden gnome laughing, Julia. Get with the times.
Okay. What do I do? What do we do?
Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the three members of the podcast lived in harmony. Then everything changed when the internet attacked. Now the Wi-Fi, master of all four elements, must come and return or something. I don't know. I don't. So, after a brief interruption, shall we say, we're back.
Ready to attack.
Yeah, and it's crazy. These are the last few minutes that we'll ever spend together on a YouTube video on Zoom for this podcast ever. And if that ever changes, I will eat my shoe.
Record it. I want to see that.
Oh no, I have to eat my shoe. Oh crap.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Well, okay. Distraction. Apparently, we're going to be having a dance in the end of April, MC by me and Marianne, but mostly Marianne.
And Artie, mostly Artie too.
Yeah, mostly Marianne and mostly Artie. It's like that Yogi Berra quote. It's like it's 50% this, 50% that, 50% this, and 50% that. You know, it's just a little bit of everything. Yeah, that'll be exciting. That'll be sort of like an epilogue, as it were, to the podcast. You know, the chapter where we see that. Oh no, that's a spoiler for that book. the epilogue where we see that the person we thought had been thrown into the pit of darkness may not be dead after all.
So, do you know what you're wearing? Like, this is a girl question. This is what girls do.
They ask questions.
No, they ask like about what you're wearing.
Ooh, that's a good question. I might wear like socks, just a little cute. Yeah. I might wear boxers. Just feeling safe, just feeling pretty. I might wear pants.
Nice pants or like.
Ooh, I think I need to buy. No, I have a pair. I have a pair of dress pants.
No way.
I know. I think I bought it for a wedding that I got invited to. So
It's a secluded corner. Okay, sorry.
Well, it's a secluded corner. It's all coming full circle. Yeah. So yeah, I think I have those. I'll be wearing those. I'll be wearing my good dress, like my actual dress shoes, because I have a pair of black Reebok sneakers that I just wear all the time everywhere. Because black is nice. So are you wearing black or is that navy blue?
That's navy blue.
We could have been siblings, clothing siblings.
Next time.
These t-shirt
Maybe.
bros. Gown? No, what's the word?
Salt and pepper. That's what we are. Because I'm wearing white.
Okay. Yeah, that black and white. We're like an Oreo.
Definitely.
Cookie 1, cookie 2, sandwich filling. All right. I dig that. I dig that. Yeah, it'll be good. Like in between the loud tinnitus inducing music, we'll talk about blueberries and haberdashers and beans and coffee and all the various paraphernalia of life. It'll be really spectacular, Marianne, won't it?
It will be because the evening will be hosted by your two favorite podcast hosts. Unless we're not your favorite, then I guess. Well, sorry, you can't please everyone.
If you're listening to Dude Bro 57's podcast, maybe you should look at some of his sponsorships because they're a little sus. Sorry, Dude Bro 57, just gotta call you out like that. Sorry, it do be like that sometimes, as the kids say. You know what else the kids say?
What do I say?
That's a wrap, folks.
Oh. Yeah, thank you for spending these 5 episodes with us. It was fun.
It was a real treat, and I look forward to the end.
Seeing you at the formal.
Oh yeah,
tickets are $25,
which is like $20 with like a $5 tip. So it's like actually not that bad.
Just for the night with Artie and I.
Oh gosh.
Live.
Oh gosh. People,
yeah.
You're gonna get
Are you ready?
A treat. You're gonna spend time with us. You're gonna spend time with other people. It's gonna be amazing. Ooh, yeah. Woohoo! Can't wait.
Yes. Yeah.